3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Dialogue Alley is a show about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I'm Melanie from the Harry Potter collection, and with me today is Erik from Nocturne Erik.
Hello.
And Carly from All the Pretty Books.
Hello.
Carly, Erik, and I are all Harry Potter book translation collectors, in addition to other Harry Potter book collectors and Harry Potter other fun thing collectors. We collect all the fun Harry Potter things.
Yes.
We do. And I'm jazzed because today we get to talk about more than just like book one of something. We're talking about something that we all have a little bit more of, which is kind of exciting.
That's right. It's going to be a good one, folks.
It is.
In addition to our main segment, which is exciting, so stay tuned for it. We're going to be talking about some brief news, and like always, we'll have a translation of the show, which is kind of going to meld right into our main segment. And if there's time, we'll try to get to some questions. But for now, let's get into some news.
I'm still selling books on Instagram, so if you're looking for any Harry Potter books, make sure to check out my Instagram, All the Pretty Books. You may find something you like.
Yeah, I'm on the deep hunt for your books, Carly. You know, I'm after those finished pre-movie books. Whenever you get to them, whenever you find them, those are mine.
Yes.
Are you just going to post them anyway, though, just to show people?
No, that seems so mean.
I would be so upset.
Just post it and say it's for sale and then change it 30 seconds later to sold. Sold to Melanie.
I have notifications up for both of your Instagram accounts, so I get notified anytime you post anything. So the second Carly posts something, I've been creeping on her account waiting for those finished books because I have in the back of my head for some reason that she's going to forget that I need them. So hopefully she doesn't.
Nah.
All right.
Nah.
Erik, what'd you get?
I didn't really get anything new. I'm kind of at another buying lull.
Oh, I did. I've got book mail coming, though.
Oh, what'd you get?
I got Bulgarian Deathly Hallows, which I forgot I didn't need, but it's coming anyway.
Oh.
And then I have the new Italian box set coming.
Hey, you can tell us what you think of. I only have book one. Brian sent that to me.
And then I'll do a very late but better late than ever YouTube video review of it. And then I've got a few other things coming. So
hey, well, once you get that, we can do the translation of the show for that book one, because then we can all feel it.
I think that
would be
one.
good.
Yeah, that'll be good to talk about.
Absolutely.
We've already talked about it a little bit, or at least I've spoken about my feelings about that set, but it'll be good for all of us to chat about it.
Yeah, so we can definitely talk more about it when it comes.
Awesome.
I'm doing something fun on my page that I've done twice before, and I archive all the posts about 2 weeks after it ends because it takes up a lot of space. But right now the European Soccer Championships are going on, and it was supposed to be in 2020, but due to COVID, they're doing it in 2021. And I'm posting all the score results from all the games with Lego blocks next to books that represent individual countries. Which, having so many translations in Europe, it's actually really cool because you can have almost every country represented exclusively. There's only a few that, like, I have to just kind of use a different one. Like, for instance, like Austria and Germany are both in the tournament, and Switzerland, and they all speak German. So I just have to pick a different German book to represent each of the countries. For Austria, the Chamber of Secrets I'm using is actually printed in Austria, so I'm using that one.
Oh, that's clever.
But otherwise, I just kind of pick fun covers. So it's just kind of a cool way to combine sports, which I like. And also, I get a lot of people, like, always asking for some sort of, like bracket between cover art to see like which one is the best. And I don't know how I would organize that. So this is just kind of another way to just display cool art and books that are represented from countries all around the world and just kind of keep it fresh. So I'll leave those up after the final's done in July for about 2 weeks, and then I'll archive all those. So if you want to see them, go check it out now. If they're not up when you want to see them, you can send me a message and I'll send you some pictures if you would like. But I did it previously for the Women's World Cup and the previous World Cup as well. So I'm hopefully doing it for the Qatar World Cup in 2022. So
cool.
It's kind of fun.
Very cool.
It's kind of fun. I like it. But only like
Me
16
too.
other people seem to like it. So, but I'm doing it for myself, so it doesn't matter.
That is what matters, is that you're doing
That is
it
what
for
matters.
you.
Yes. All right, let's get on to our main segment. Okay, so for our main segment this show, we're going to talk about the German editions. Now, we talked about German as a translation of the show just as book one, but we've mentioned a few times in previous episodes that the German editions, much like, I mean, the French editions have a lot of different versions as well, but the German editions have so many different covers and so many different versions and so many different box sets and different special book club releases that it's just kind of worth looking at all of those in kind of just a broad overview, because there are so many cool German books. And I know people that, I think we talked about Lena from Germany. She just collects the German books. She's German. And there are so many that they fill up like multiple shelves in her house because there are so many different German books. I actually think there are more German books than there are American books.
There are.
What do you think, people?
I would say so.
I would say so too. Looking at this list, definitely.
Just looking at the list, I would
Because-
say so.
Yeah, they have an incredible amount of not only different editions, but different covers, different cover art. That was the draw for me. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. And I would say
the
Melanie
cover
too,
art.
right?
Yep, absolutely. They're all a little bit different, which is really, really cool.
It is. So it makes it worthwhile. Like if you're collecting translations and you're also collecting unique art, like the German books are just a treasure trove of wonder.
They really are.
So we've put together a list of all the ones that we can think of. And between the three of us, we have, each of us have some of these. Some of us have most of them.
Yeah, I think out of this list, I think I'm only missing one thing. I thought I had them all except for one book, but now that I'm looking at this, there are possibly a couple that I'm missing. So we'll see. That's why this is a fun rabbit hole to go down.
It is. And I told both of you before we started recording, like, I only collect book ones usually, but I have more German books than any other book on my shelf, any other language. Like, I have a ton of them compared to the rest of the ones that I have. So,
But they're just so fun. Like, the art is so fun. It's so different from what we typically see. I mean, we've talked about it quite at length when we aren't on the podcast.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good thing to look closer into also, because while, yes, there are so many different cover arts, there are also a lot of the same cover arts that they use over and over again in different ways.
That is true. Yep. Very creative. And yes, you're right.
Yeah. So
should we get going?
let's chat about some German
Let's
books.
dive right on in.
All right. So the first item we have is the original 7 books. So if you've seen the first German book, it's green. It's got Harry on there. He's looking pretty sly on the chessboard. But the rest of those in the series, they all have the same artist. That's correct.
Yes.
Right, Carly?
Sabina Wilhelm, yeah.
Yeah, and her art, I think, is just outstanding. And we talked before how you can really kind of get a sense of just continuality, or is that even a word? I don't know. But like
Continuity?
Continuity. Yeah, you just edit it out. You can get a real sense of continuity, almost like with the Mary Grand Pré books, where it's the same artist envisioning the same moments through the books. And I think that really has it just adds a certain element of character to the covers in general, that it's the same
It
artist
does.
doing the art for all the books, that you can kind of see how the artist grows and changes and reacts to different scenes in the book, but does so in the same style. So personally,
And how
I
their
just really
idea of
appreciate
Harry
that.
kind of changes.
Yeah, when you see her
As
drawing
you watch, right. Harry grows up through her eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that I find really cool. And Melanie, do you want to talk about the strange alternate editions that they have here for books 6 and 7? Because those are actually really cool kind of anomalies that most people don't really know about unless you're German almost.
Yeah, I feel like, and I also feel like us as collectors, like this is something that we kind of know about because we've done like our research a bit into them. Carly will probably help fill in any holes that I'm missing in talking about these books. But for books 6 and 7, before the books were released, they sent out the books in with test jackets. Because when you typically buy these books, they don't have dust jackets. But for these two, they had a dust jacket with an alternate cover. So the ones that were released, so for book 6, for example, the one that was released for Half-Blood Prince has Harry in the little boat with Dumbledore, and that's the cover that is known all throughout the world. But the alternate cover, or the alternate book that was released with this jacket, has a completely different moment that was chosen, and people were able to vote on which cover they preferred. And when the voting was over, they chose the scene that we went with. So this happened only for book 6 and 7. And from what I understand, book 7, the alternate cover is so rare. And there are so few of them in existence.
Yeah, I know a couple German collectors that are still looking for this, and they're able to find literally any German book that you want, but they can't find this one. So
yeah,
or one of them did find it, but it was ridiculously expensive, like in the thousands of euro. So
oh no,
yeah, so I'm not paying that much.
Me either.
No.
Not in this collector lifetime. But I think all three of us have the book 6, right?
I do. I have that
We
one.
do?
I'm very happy to have that one.
My book 6 is still in Germany, but I do have it. So that kind of counts.
I'll count it.
Really quick, I want to talk about the cover that really quickly, because I'm kind of glad that they chose to not pick the alternate cover, because it shows like the Hogwarts tower with the dark mark over it. Like there is a fight going on there. And someone told me this, I'm not sure, but correct me if I'm wrong or if you've heard differently, that the original version of that cover had someone falling off the tower.
Oh my.
And they covered it up. And I think if you look closely, you can see where they covered up the person or kind of just like airbrushed them out.
Oh my.
And I wish I could remember who told me that, because I want to confirm that. But that's something.
Would it have been Lena?
It might have been. Or it might have, there's another German collector that I talked to as well that may have told me that as well. But I'm not sure. But if that's true, I think that's kind of cool. But I'm kind of glad that they didn't go with that, because I think regarding the other, there's a lot of spoilers that are being given away there.
And then, I mean, on the flip side, I would say that I actually really enjoy the cover, or enjoy the moment that they chose for book 7, their alternate cover, which was in the Room of Requirement with Fiendfire, because it's a moment that's not, I feel like it's in the movies, but it's not really captured quite well in the movies, that Fiendfire actually was like all of these magical beasts coming out. And I feel like on this cover, like, it is captured really nicely, except the only thing is I'm pretty sure that you can see like Harry going off to try to save like Draco and Crabbe, and like Crabbe is not, like, he's not doing too hot on the cover, so maybe that's why it didn't get picked. But it is very it's a very like colorful option in contrast to the rest of the set. So I don't know, I feel like that would have been pretty cool to see. That
would have been a cool, but I think if the shoe had been on the other foot and they'd picked that one and the alt cover was the one that they wound up going with, I think I would have probably said the same thing. It's like, well, this moment is cool and blah, blah,
Yeah, I mean,
blah,
I feel like if we had seen like alternate Mary Grand Prix covers, like we would have thought that they were amazing just because they didn't go with them. And we're like, oh, but that's such a cool moment. So,
and I know all three of us, or at least I'm pretty sure all three of us, we all appreciate Sabina Wilhelm's work here. So it's just nice to see more of it.
Yeah.
Same with Mary Grand Prix. Like, I love Mary Grand Prix's Potter art. I think it's so nice to see more of it. So I enjoy seeing like the different prints and the different, choice selections. When she did what book is it? The School Market Edition.
Yeah. With
it's just such a nice, or like the 10th anniversary edition, just such a nice, departure from what we knew. So I enjoy, same with Sabina Wilhelm stuff here. Like I really enjoy seeing just more of it.
And that's why I ordered the Jim K Magical Yearbook coming out this fall. Because I want more Jim K stuff that we didn't see before.
More different Jim K
There
stuff.
will be
different. It's gonna be different.
Okay.
She's gonna buy it, Eric.
I know she will.
I love how well y'all know me, because I was actually going to say, I'm going to hold out. I'm going to be this, like, real hardline no, and then I'm going to see it in the store and be like, guess what I bought? That'll be on my news.
You just told us you bought a book 7 Bulgarian that you didn't need.
Well, I thought I needed it, though.
Oh, right. Oh, so you can buy a $20 Jim K Magical Year.
I thought I needed the Bulgarian, and turns out I needed book 6, not book 7.
Dum, dum, dum.
Mistakes were made.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one here. So the German books, they all have adult editions. This is seen commonly in, I think the UK books are the ones that most people are familiar with first seeing like an adult cover. But the German books also have an adult edition, presumably so that when you're reading it on the train or at a park, people don't make fun of you for reading what is deemed a children's book. However, by that point in time, Harry Potter had become a global phenomenon, and I don't think the picture on the front of the book really changed anyone's opinion on whether it was for kids or for grown-ups.
I agree.
But it's nice to see different art, though.
Yes.
And it's not even like art. Like the pictures that are on these adult editions are like the one that comes to mind is like Chamber of Secrets has like an actual like stock photo of just this cute little green snake.
I know. It was actually, so I hadn't seen the adult editions until probably a year after I'd seen the first editions, and it was the Chamber of Secrets. I saw that cover and I was like, "There's no way this is a real cover," because I love green, right? And I was like loving all over it. I was like, "This is fabulous! I can't wait to own it." And it was the Chamber of Secrets cover that made me want to get all of the adult editions. Because I can't just have Chamber of Secrets. That would be weird. So I got all 7 so I could have Chamber of Secrets and not look weird.
Well, we don't think you're weird.
No.
Y'all are in a very small group, but I'm glad.
So is anything else people want to say about the adult editions? I don't think I have these.
I believe that they're harder to find. I believe Lena said that they were harder to find as the books got, like, as you went up in years. Like 6 and 7, I believe, got harder to find, but I could be wrong.
5 as well.
Maybe 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 as well, especially because of their size. Like book 5 is so gigantic.
Big.
Yeah.
And I know that one was like a tricky one for me to track down. So I know that it was.
I want to say Lena told me that also. I want to say she told me that 5, 6, and 7 of the adult editions were going to be harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
But we shall see, because she'll probably email us and tell us all the correct answers to these ponderings that we have.
She will.
I can't wait.
Which is great.
I can't either.
I know. She's delightful.
Right. Anything else on the adult editions?
No, just great covers.
Oh, okay. We like great covers. So the next one,
We do.
I don't know anything about the next one, so who wants to talk about this one? This is the large print for books 1 through 3.
They're by a different publisher. They're in the so the large print. There's only books 1 through 3. They're all hardcover. They have different cover art than the other German Harry Potter books. I think they're just stock images, but they're in my book room right now, so they're not in front of my face, so I can't tell you. But I do know that they're from a different publisher than
Carlson?
Carlson.
Yeah,
they're not Carlson. I know that. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. They're not super common, but they're also not super uncommon either, has been what I've found. Like, if I was looking for the German large print editions, I could find them, but they're not going to be just all over the place either. And they are large print. Like, when you look through the text block, it is a true large print. So there's that.
So
and they're heavy. Like the boards and books themselves are actually heavy.
Well, there's a lot of print in there. They gotta keep it secure.
Yes. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Lots of spells in there. Spells, I guess, add weight. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're nice. Like, they're a nice addition to the collection. And because it's only books 1 through 3, I mean, the German books tend to be kind of thicker anyway. You guys know that.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
Because it's only books 1 through 3, they're not as thick as, like, if they would have been the whole series. So that's kind of nice.
All right. So that was large print, only available in books 1 through 3. The next one is the first German book that I got, and actually the first book club version of any language that I got, and that is there's only book 1 in this cover, and it's Harry with the Sorting Hat, and it's such a colorful book, and it's something that when I saw a picture of it, like I was like, well, I have to have that, even though I already have a German book. Like, I need to have that version too. So
I think that was most everyone
who's
who's seen that cover.
Yeah, this book, I feel like it's one of those books that, like, I have a special, like, memory attached to it, because this is the book that, like, Peter and I became friends over.
Oh,
because
I didn't know that.
there was this guy who, I don't even know if he was like a Harry Potter translation collector or a Harry Potter collector or what he was, but he just happened to be selling off a bunch of Harry Potter books. And this is when I first started really collecting. And he had this German book and I wanted it so bad. And I messaged him and I was like, hey, in addition to the other 8 books that I'm getting from you, can you also throw in this German book, whatever? And he's like, oh, it's so funny that you messaged me about it because someone else just messaged me asking about it, so it's already sold. And then, then I got all of my books from the guy, and the day after I got all of my books, Peter posted a picture of that book. And I was like, you got the German edition. And he was like, yeah, I needed it, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was funny, but, like, then I went into, like, messaging him, and, like, that was, like, that's, like, how we started talking, I think, was, like, over this book. I was like, oh, I was buying that book. No, I was buying that book, so.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
and
I
Melanie,
love that.
You weren't here last week, but we talked about the Orange Russian book that we both saw on eBay. And like, I was like, I'm not going to buy it, but I kind of want to buy it. And I like asked you and you're like, oh, I didn't see that. And then like 2 days later, I was like, I think I'm going to buy it. And you're like, I already did. Actually, I bought it.
That's happened to, I feel like that's happened to all of us for sure.
I'm sure it has.
Like,
I know it has.
Yeah, I feel like I could definitely think of ones like from, there are books that like Carly's beat me out on. I know like I beat her on like the Black Norwegian box set. Like she was like, oh, I think I should get that. And then, I've had people message me. There was, last year I bought, Second State Italian books 2 and 3 that were in like pristine condition. And someone messaged me on Instagram saying like, oh, it was you that got those books. All right. I guess I'm glad it was another collector. I'm like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I got them.
Oh, I love
happens.
it.
It inevitably
it happens to
happen.
all of us at any point in time.
Yeah. Yep. And that's just part of it.
That's right.
Yep.
So all those anecdotes and random tangents, that summarizes the book club 1 with Harry and the Sorting Hat, which there will definitely be a picture.
It's a favorite book club.
There will definitely be a picture of this posted on Instagram because of the cover. I think it's
awesome.
It's awesome.
It is. Yeah. It's one of the few book clubs that I actually think is really amazing.
Yeah, like those, and we're not talking about the Spain ones, but the Spain ones, the Spanish books from Spain have cool covers from the book club. That's the other one I can think of.
You're not wrong, too. Yeah, those are pretty cool. And Danish has really cool book cover covers.
Oh, they do. I forgot about those.
Book club covers.
I don't have any of those. That'd be something.
I have a few. Yeah.
I'm going to add that to my list for next year.
Okie dokie.
So there are another book club version that the German books have, and these books have the same cover art as the original books 1 through 7, but there's only books 1 through 4, and they kind of have a colored border around the outside. There's really not much different to them. They look kind of cool if you just like the alternate covers surrounding the image, but there's really not anything else that's like super like
they're nice on a shelf. They're nice on a shelf.
Yeah, I agree.
They're nice on a shelf, and I do like the alternate covers. Like they're not necessarily alternate covers, but I like the color border.
Yeah, it gives it a nice pop, especially on the title. Yeah, but there's nothing. They look nice. I think they look nicer on the shelf than they do when you're holding them in front of you.
I agree with that.
If that makes sense to anybody. So if you want to buy a book just to look at the spine, buy that one.
That's right.
Okay, so Melanie, what's next? What do we have next?
Next up is okay, so the next ones that I have on this list, these are kind of out of order. Typically I would have put these in order of which they were like published, but the next ones are, we always call them the rainbow editions. So it's like such a beautiful box set. Talk about beautiful books like to look at on your shelves. But it comes in this really nice orange box. Each book is, I guess it's like a cloth material. But
it's a clothy texture for sure.
Yeah, they're all really nice, and each book is a different color. And they're all different colors of the rainbow. They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful books.
The texture of the books remind me of all the U.S. books if you take the jacket off, like the part on the spine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah,
it's
exactly
like
that.
A little fuzzy.
Yeah, that, or like the deluxe UK editions, it reminds me of a bit. Maybe like a little bit more coarse than that and not as clothy as those, but they're just really, really nice books. No, I was going to say, I think that box set comes with like artwork postcards as well.
It does. I think it does. That's what I was going to mention too. Yeah, It has a little sleeve. It looks like almost like a mini book that fits in there as well. And it has some cool little postcard things with pictures on them.
Yeah.
Suitable for framing.
That's right.
Or not, depending on what you choose to do with them.
Or keeping in the box.
It's just such a happy... I love that. It's such a happy box set. It's just heavy. And something important, a lot of these boxes, especially after they've been shipped from different people, especially across different countries, it's not uncommon for the boxes to be super damaged and or split at the corners.
Oh yeah, mine completely fell apart, but thankfully it fell apart in a way that I was able to like repair it pretty well. So now
it was an easy repair job.
Yeah, now it's like on my shelf and not going anywhere, and anytime I have to handle it, I handle with extreme care. But yeah, I agree with that the box usually comes apart a bit.
Mine fell apart.
I mean, they can be wrapped very, very, very well, because I know the person that I got mine from, she's incredible, and she wrapped very carefully, and it still just fell apart. So it's just something to be mindful of when you're buying them.
Yeah, and that goes for another of the box sets that we're going to talk about. I don't know if it's right after this or in a little bit, but yeah, my box of that one ripped too. So I think it's just a box set full of heavy books is hard to...
It's hard, especially when the joints are mainly paper.
Well, right, and the box is made out of cardboard. And when I got this box set in the mail, like I was unaware of how massive this box was. Like it is by far the biggest box set I have. Like it's a huge box, and the books are, I mean, I guess normal book size, but it's just big. Same. It takes up a ton of space, so it would be hard to ship that anywhere. If you put it in the back of your car and drove it half an hour away, it might rip in half.
Right.
Very delicate.
But anyway, one of my favorite sets for sure. I think, actually, I did a series on my page where I did each book in a row. So I have all 7 in a row in a nice rainbow.
So pretty.
Yeah, I think I remember you doing that, actually. And yeah. I made a YouTube video about most of the German box sets because they're phenomenal.
Well, I will say that the next one on here is probably like one of all of our favorites out of all of the books on our shelves. Maybe I'm speaking for everybody, but I would confidently say that.
Well, I only have book 1 in it, so I want to get the rest of it though. I will. I'm going to buy the rest of the books.
You need them.
It's right on my list.
Need them all desperately.
I will, but they're still pretty easy to get at this point. So when I have a book lull, I'll get them on Amazon Germany.
Yep.
Well,
Amazon.de.
The books that we are talking about are, in fact, the 20th anniversary editions. These books are so unique. Well, I shouldn't even say so unique because they are unique to Germany. I don't think that they were printed anywhere else. But the covers are unlike any other covers that I've seen in the world. The only ones that I could slightly compare them to are the 20th anniversary Slovak editions, which I'm...
Yes! I'm glad you saw that comparison.
Also, like, heavily obsessed with those editions. But these ones, like, each book has... The text is in a slightly different font, and it's it just all of the details that are taken on these books is just
everything
unreal.
is a treat for the eyes. Everything on these books, so they're illustrated by Jacopo Bruno, who's masterfully wonderful, and even like the price on the back is like a movie tickets.
Oh, everything,
like kind of thing.
Everything about it is amazing.
Yeah, like it's very whimsical. It looks like it kind of reminds me of like fairy tale books that I looked at when I was a little kid, as far as like some of the illustration and art, but prettier. Everything it's just such a treat to look at. Like I could sit and look at them forever. Like anytime actually that people come over to my house, I'm like, come look at my books. And I always show them these 20th anniversary German books and the box they came in.
Even if they've seen them before.
I don't care.
At the previous visit to your house.
No. They just have to see them every time. No, I'm not that bad, but you know, like if they've not seen them, because a lot of my friends, surprisingly enough, at least friends here, they're not big Potter people. So they've only seen the art that we typically see that's ubiquitous. They don't know about the 20th anniversary Germans and how magical they are.
No, nor would I expect them to.
Right. Well, me neither, but
so it's a treat.
I feel like I should show them.
I agree, because I also show people this one, and that's why I want the rest of them. For me, when I look at it, like they're not a steampunk book, but they remind me of like steampunk.
Maybe that's what it reminds me of.
Just in terms of like the intricacy of everything that's on the cover, and like steampunk technology is just very much like little tiny things and gears and cogs and wheels put all together that's run by steam to do these like modern day tasks. And it just reminds me because of that, just because they're so busy. And also they do kind of remind me of like Jules Verne type stuff, which is also kind of steampunky.
Yeah.
I have a Jules Verne book from Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble did those series where they would reprint classic books, and they had these really just outstanding covers. I don't know if you have any of those.
No, I don't.
Well, I'll send you guys a picture of the Jules Verne book I have, but it's red and it has like gold lettering, and it's very much like this book, and it just looks very very busy, but in a very, very cool way that you want to look at it.
Okay.
So I give this one a 3 thumbs up. I have to borrow a friend's hand. 3 thumbs up.
They're amazing.
The next set is like they did box sets as well. They have a 1 through 4 box set that has Harry, his face on the spine, and they're kind of teal. I love this box set. I looked into it actually on a large German bookseller website a few years ago for not a whole lot of money and free shipping. And I have loved it ever since.
And what's cool about it is these I don't even think are technically part of the set, but they have books 5 through 7 in addition that like go with the set that have that same like minty green border, which is really cool. So it kind of like completes the set having all 7 of them that way.
Yeah, I think they're so pretty. I love the teal. And they have a border like that teal, like that light seafoamy teal color around Sabina Wilhelm's stuff, like cover art.
Yeah, that one's really nice.
And I agree. I forget. I don't think these have the actual words from the title on them because they weren't meant to be sold independently because the spines are unique and they make a picture. And I don't think they have ISBNs on them either for the same reason. I would have to look though when they're in the
I feel like that's the teal character set doesn't have the titles.
I would have to look.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the teal character set, which is actually the next set on our list, is a box set of 1 through 7, and that one, it's like a darker teal. I would say that the ones that we were just talking about are like more of like a lighter.
They're a lighter teal,
like a lighter mintier green. These ones are like a dark. The
character one is like more blue.
Yeah, it's like a dark tealy blue, and those ones I'm pretty sure, like if you pull a book out from the box set, there's no information on the cover, like it's just the image, which is really cool because then it focuses on it. Yeah, so it's really neat.
Alongside the alternate cover books that Germany did when they were, trying to tease which cover they were going to have, they had a cover reveal, and it came again with a dust jacket, and it had a Roman numeral for and I believe it's just books. It was either books 5, 6, and 7 or books 6 and 7. And it had the Roman numeral of the book number, and then you took the jacket off to see what cover it was. And they had those.
It's like unwrapping. It's like unwrapping a present.
Yeah, they're not super common. Actually, I would say they're about as common as the alt covers, maybe more so. I'm not certain though. I've
seen more, and I don't know if it's one particular, but I've seen more Roman numeral books for sale, either on eBay or from collectors, than I have the alt cover.
And they could have printed a lot more of the Roman numeral cover reveal jackets, and then people just threw the jacket away thinking, because I know so many people who throw jackets away when they get books. So I'm just kind of going off of what I've seen for sale, and it's very spotty at best. I mean, we would honestly need to sit and ask Lena. I'm sure she would know quite a bit.
Yeah, those are the only ones that I am missing out of the ones that we're talking about, other than the alternate cover book 7. So they're the ones that I know the least about.
Yeah, same actually.
But it's good to have something to strive for.
True.
That's right.
Isn't it? Yeah, I agree. You gotta keep sharp.
Yes.
Stay in the game.
That's right.
Yes.
And the next books, these only came out for book 1. There was an alternate cover for book 1 that came out, or it was like a special edition paperback, and it's artwork that features Harry riding the broom, and it's the same cover artist for the original cover artwork, which is really cool. It's just kind of showing Harry in a different way. So we have Harry riding a broom. Then right after that, the exact same artwork of Harry riding a broom came out on another paperback that's the exact same size, the exact same book essentially, but it's Harry riding the broom in like a picture frame, and the cover is brown. And we talked about I think we talked about this in the news like a few weeks ago, that there's there's another one with the same artwork coming out again for book 1.
It's slightly different.
But it's slightly different. So obviously we're all going to buy it and move on with our lives.
I do like that the spines of this book are very different in terms of color. One of them is like bright orange, and one of them is it's green. It's a little bit different than the teal set. And they actually place the words in a different. Yeah, and they place the words in a different location on the spine too. So they don't look like palette swaps of the same book. They do look like different books. So when they're next to each other on the spine.
So we have that going for us.
Yeah, we do. But they have the same little picture of Harry on the top, though.
Yes.
Everything else is the same, but they're cool and they're cheap and they're under $10 US to buy and almost even ship. So yeah, and Amazon Germany will mail them to you for a pretty cheap price too because they're small. So yeah, they're cool to get.
They are.
So, and then the last the last set we're going to talk about will kind of lead right into the translation of the show. This is one of my favorite sets, and I don't collect a lot of sets. I've said that before, but I had to get this one because for books 1 through 7, they actually have spells on the converse of the spine. I don't even know if there's a name for that part of the book. The part where you turn the pages.
Side edge.
Side edge? Mm-hmm. Seems like we could have come up with a better term for that.
Floor edge, side edge.
Pagey zone.
Flipper part.
Flipper part. But when you hold these books just like normally flat in front of you, it just kind of looks like a mess of ink. But if you kind of bend the pages one way, they'll say a spell. And if you bend the pages the other way, they'll say another part of the spell. So for instance, like they might say Lumos, and you bend them the other way, they say Nox. But you have to bend the book to see this. So at least on my box set, like all the spines are creased because people want to see undoubtedly the coolest part of this set, which is the spell on the side of the book that you don't ever see when it's on the show.
Mm-hmm.
They're very cool.
I love these books. I love this box set. I made a YouTube video of this box set as well because it's honestly just one of my favorite box sets of any language because it's so creative, even though the covers they're fun. I like them. But the creativity and the side edge is like really nifty.
Yeah, that's nifty. And I do know that they have this whole set 1 through 7 without the spells on the side.
They do. Did it come in a box?
No. You can buy them individually.
Individually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you need to be careful if you're looking for the ones with the spells. And there was someone, Melanie, I think it was you.
It was me. It was me.
You had a book 1. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, yeah, I want that. And then I realized it wasn't.
I know. And I said to you, I was like, I have to give you a disclosure and let you know that it doesn't have the spell on the side. I think I still have that one, actually. Or I might have sold it. I don't know. I know I wasn't happy that it didn't have the spell either.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I felt when I bought a French book 1 that didn't have the chapter art. And I was like, no. It was like a first edition,
I didn't even know that they had spells on the side. It was because I bought book 1 off of like Thrift, I think, and it was one of those stock photos where it had no image kind of thing, and I was pleasantly surprised when this really cool small little German book showed up, and then I think Melanie, you really liked it, and then you're the one who actually showed me that they had spells on the sides too, because the one that I got didn't.
Yeah, because I had gone like looking for these books quite heavily because I knew that it was unique cover art. So I think as far as my like unique cover art journey went, these were some of the first books that I was really looking for. So yeah, I think I was like kind of up everybody's behinds trying to find these books. So that's probably why I brought so much attention to them.
Yeah, because it was like your quest for a long time.
It was, but now I have the whole box set, and they're amazing.
Yay. They are amazing, and it's a lot smaller of a box than the rainbow set.
That's right.
They're about half.
They are at least half. They almost are like a pocket edition size. But to talk more about sizes, why don't we further examine one of the books from this set in the translation of the show?
Show is German. Of course it is.
Oh.
For our German episode. But we're specifically going to look at book 6 of the Spell Edition books. So this book it features on the cover. It's very, very simple. It's literally just a potion pot or a cauldron, if you will, with a bunch of little potions next to it. And it has, I don't know, I guess maybe it's supposed to be the Marauders map on the top. But something that's cool about these editions is that it has multiple textures on them. So the frame around the cover is like a soft matte texture. And then there's a glossier texture on the cover in the middle, which is kind of neat. It's just a nice book to like run your fingers over.
Yeah, and then the font for Harry Potter is raised, which is a further element of dimension.
I guess it is raised. I was like, at first, I guess like it looked like it was deepened, if anything, but you're right,
No,
it is raised.
I thought the same thing. Yeah,
it's
but
a
it is raised.
nice illusion that we have going on there.
Oh.
So, I don't know if you would like to open your books to page 394 and give it a quick little whiff.
394.
I'm just
Okay.
joshing you guys.
I'm on 342, so maybe it'll smell different.
I don't know.
You're okay.
I would give this smell probably like an acceptable. It's not like there's nothing fantastic about it.
It just smells like glue.
Yeah,
Mine smells like glue.
Yeah.
Yeah, like glue and paper. Nothing like the book, like the Dutch pocket.
Yeah, like the Dutch Pocket we were talking about is like more than exceeds expectations. Like Slovak, I would say, is an outstanding smelling book. So like,
Yes,
I would
that's
say
a good smell.
I would say that this is more of an acceptable. Size and proportions of this book, I would give it an exceeds expectations. The size of it in your hand is like, or the size is really, really wonderful, and the proportions of the book is quite nice. And it is small. Like
it fits so nicely.
Right. So for how it feels in your hands, I would give it also an exceeds expectation to an outstanding. It is a great size for a book. I feel like it just feels good in your hands.
I would give it an outstanding just because it's a long book. And even like I picked up book 5 before we did this, which is the biggest book in the series, and it doesn't feel like it's big. Like it's a big book, but like the proportions of it make it still seem like readable, and you can hold it in your hand, and it's not gonna it's not like awkward to like open and read it.
Yeah,
a lot of books that are smaller paperbacks that are really thick are awkward to read, and this doesn't feel that way. So I give this an outstanding.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
I would actually give it an outstanding as well, because my hands are really, really small, and I can actually hold this one in my hand very easily and read it very easily. It's very well bound as well, and it's just very nice to read. And what's really cool is the paper itself is not super thin, so it's not going to tear easily. So it's going to last you through several rereads should you want to do it.
Yeah, so on that note, I would say like the quality of the book is probably like an acceptable to exceeds expectations. Like for what it is, I feel like it is really nice quality.
Yes.
I like the... I'm going to give it an acceptable, only because I don't love the pictures on the front. Like, if it was just about the spells on the side, which this book, we should mention, says Avada Kedavra, if you move the spells, which is awesome. I give that part of the book an outstanding. I think the images to me are just very random, and they fit because they don't overcrowd the page, but what I like the best are the things on the spine.
I agree.
I like that each of the HPs on each book is different, and I like this particular one. And each of the books also has a like magical artifact. In this case, it's the diadem of Ravenclaw on it. So I think that's really cool on this book specifically. And I do like the purple cover of it. I just don't love the picture as a picture.
Yeah, I would say cover art is definitely unacceptable. It's not like it's nothing super, super crazy. But overall, the book, I feel like, is pretty nice. And the fact that it's unique, it has the spells on the sides, I feel like that's what gives it, like, it's a slight little edge.
Oh, for sure. If I had to give it an overall score, I would say exceeds expectations as an overall book.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. Cool.
And, I mean, the only book and set that has these weird spells on the paper side. So I don't even know other books that have that aren't Harry Potter books.
I don't know of any at all.
Me either.
So
and
triple
I think we should
bonus
mention
points.
that the box set is quite limited.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's tricky
I don't
to
know
find.
the numbers.
Yeah, it's becoming harder to find pretty quickly.
It is. And I think we went into kind of the statistical info on German as a language itself in a previous episode, so we don't need to go...
Oh, that's true. I didn't even...
I don't think we really even need to talk about that here. So if you missed out, you can go back and listen to that on a previous episode, or you can just do some Googling and learn about the German language on your free time.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So I think for this episode we're running a bit short on time, so we're not going to have time for a question, unfortunately. Do we ever have time for questions? I don't know. Eventually, we will have time for questions.
Well, eventually we just end up doing an entire episode of questions.
That's
which
right.
Actually, I've gotten good feedback on those. So,
Yeah, I like those too.
That may be the case in a future one as well.
Sounds good to me. All right, so that is unfortunately going to be all we have time for today. But if you want to get in touch with us, you can always find me on Instagram at the Harry Potter Collection. You can find Erik on Instagram at Nocturne Erik. That's Nocturne with a K and Erik with a K. I always say that because I knew an Erik with a C when I was like in elementary school, so I always have to add that in.
We all did. I had to say Erik with a K all the time.
And then Carly with a C is at, you can find her on Instagram at All the Pretty Books. You can also find her on her website. You can find me on my website. We just all have all the things.
Yes.
No, we don't. I only have Instagram.
All right. Except for Erik.
Well, then there's Erik.
Oh boy. And then there's Erik.
Yeah.
New band name.
And I barely even had an Instagram. So.
Yeah,
well, we gotcha.
That's true.
I know. You got me into it.
All right. And remember that you can find Dialogue Alley on Apple, Google, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast hosting locations. You can also find this podcast specifically on Instagram at Dialoguealleypodcast. That's where you're going to find all of the pictures or any of the things that we talked about on today's episode.
And there will be a lot of them.
Yes. Because there are so many German
we
books.
talked about so many books. Yep.
And they'll be worth your time because they're all really cool.
That's right. I agree. All right. So now it is time to walk back through the archway, grab a drink from your favorite poorest pot pub, and into your daily lives. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.